Boom, boom. Okay, we're recording. Good. All right. I want to actually work my way back because yesterday the Zoom did not record. So I'm just going to go over this stuff quickly from yesterday, and then we'll jump into what we were supposed to be doing today. Okay. So 9.1 talked about what? It talked about solving systems by graphing. So you needed to be able to take two equations. They were in slope-intercept form. We were able to get the slope out, the y-intercept out. We graphed the y-intercept, 0, 3. So 0, 3 was right there. Then we found another point by using the slope, 2 over 1. So I went up 2 and to the right 1. And then we drew this green line. Then we took the other equation. We found the y-intercept. We found the slope. We plotted the y-intercept at 0, 2. And then we used the slope to sit there and get the next point, up 1 to the right 1. And we drew this red line. And then we found where the intersection was, right here, that circle, which was, of course, -1, 1. Now, they asked the question up here, is 5, 7 a solution? Well, 5, 7 was way up here, and that is not where they intersect, so therefore it is not a solution. But once we graphed, we figured out that -1, 1 was a solution, okay? And then we were able to do it down here, okay, as we go through. So this one, problem number 2, very simple, easy to read. When I'm looking here, it says y is equal to -2x plus 1. So there's the y-intercept, go down to 1, 2, to the right 1, graph that line. Then I have y equals x minus 5. So that's 0, -5. That's right there. It says go up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1. There's my second one. So this would have been my second line. Where do they intersect? They intersect right there. So I didn't even have to really do all that. I know that it's 2, comma, and I went down how many? 3. So -3. And this is my solution, or what they call the answer to that equation, okay? And then we have ones where they said, okay, you need to be able to graph. Let's use number 4. So number 4, if I'm looking here, what is my y-intercept? Well, y equals mx plus b. My b is -6. So 0, -6 is my y-intercept. What is my slope? Well, m is equal to 1. There's no coefficient there, so there's an understood 1. I can make it a fraction by putting it over 1. That tells me to go up 1 to the right 1, okay? So 0, -6. Well, here's 0. Here's -6. I need to find one more point to draw my line. So I'm going to go up 1 to the right 1. So up 1 to the right 1. And there's my second point. And then I'm able to draw a line. Just like that. Then I do the second problem. So what is my y-intercept? So this says plus 0 because there's nothing there. So y equals mx plus b. B is 0. So I have 0, comma 0. Okay. Then I find my slope. Well, there's a negative there. -x is really -1. So my slope is -1. Make it a fraction over 1. So that says go down 1 to the right 1. So I go 0, 0. Here's 0 on the x-axis, 0 on the y-axis. It tells me to do what? Go down 1, right 1. Down 1, right 1. There's my second point. So I'm able to go and draw a line like this. Where do they intersect? Right there. Now, according to the lines, if they're straight and everything, it looks like 3 on the x-axis and -3 on the y-axis. So that is where that should make it true for both of the equations. And how would I know that? I would just plug it in. And if I plug it in, y is equal to negative, what's x? 3. So y is equal to -3. If I plug it into the other one, and that says -3, does that equal out? Yes, because y is -3. So that checks. Then I do the top one. Y is -3, correct? X is what? 3 minus 6. 3 minus 6 is what? -3. Does -3 equal -3? Yes. So it checks out. So -3 is the solution to that system. Okay. Then I'm going to just run right through these. So then 9.2 talked about solving systems by what? Substitution. So we went through this, step 1, step 2, step 3, and then we checked our solution. So all we have to do is solve for one variable. Now, you could solve for x, but in solving for x, that doesn't help me when I want to graph. So we are going to do what? Solve for y. And we're going to solve for y and what? One of the equations. Does it matter which one? No. You can sit there and solve for one of the y in the first one or the second one. Doesn't matter. And then we'll substitute it in. Okay. Substitute it in what? Into the second equation. So here we go. Let's do it. Let's do problem number 4. Y is not solved for, x isn't solved for in either one. So let's solve for y in the first one. 4 steps. Simplify / combine like terms. Anything to do? No. Second step, remove all addition and subtraction, where there is something to do here. Okay, so y minus x equals 8. I am going to add this x. Now, what I do to one side, I must do to the other. So I get y, this cancels. Don't forget your equal. Bring down the 8 plus x. I added. Okay. Step 3 says remove multiplication and division. Is y all alone? Yes. So there's nothing to do here. And the 4th step, nothing to do there. Y is all alone. What is y equal to? Y is equal to 8 plus this x. What can I do with that? That's right. I can put it for this y in the second equation. So here we go. 5x plus 2. And instead of putting y, what is y equal to? 8 plus x. So I'm going to put 8 plus x equals 9. Now what am I going to do? That's right. I'm going to solve for x. First step, simplify / combine like terms. Anything to do? Yes. Can I PEMDAS? No. But can I distribute? Yes. I can distribute this 2 into both of those terms. So I get 5x plus 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times x is 2x. Right? Can I do step number 1 again? Yes. Combine like terms. If I'm combining like terms, 5x plus 2x is what? 7x. 7x plus 16 is equal to 9. Step 2, remove all what? Addition, subtraction from where? Near your variable. So I am going to subtract. Subtract what? 16, because I'm adding it. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. So now 7x comes down. 16 minus 16, 0. Don't forget your equal sign. 9 minus 16 is what? -7. That's really 16 minus 9, which is 7. Keep the sign of the bigger number. Okay. Step 3, remove all multiplication division. So I'm going to divide. Divide by what? 7. So 7 divided by 7 is 1. -7 divided by 7 is -1. Now that I know that x is equal to -1, what can I do? That is correct. I can substitute it back in, and now I can solve for what? Y. So y equals 8 plus, and instead of putting the x, I'm going to put what? -1. Step 1, PEMDAS. All I'm going to do is add and subtract. So positive and negative is a negative. So that really says 8 minus 1, y equals 7. Now that I know what x is, I know what y is. That means that I know that x is negative 1, y is 7. This is the solution to that system. If I were to graph it, they would intersect at negative 1 and 7. Does that make sense?
Hi.
Talk to me. Does that make
There's
sense?
another person with my name in here.
I learned all of this already, man. We're in.
Hey, yo, you're trying
I
to
learned this already.
get sloppy after quarantine for a couple of bucks.
The hell?
What?
Mr. Harris is another
Not talking about
person
math.
in here.
What's going on?
There's two Deandras.
Is
Hey, yo,
the
what the-
other Deandra a counterfeit?
I don't know. No, I never
Yeah.
made another account.
It's probably just an error or something.
My baby suck, leave me alone.
What? Wait, what? I can hear him laughing.
All right. So we're going to keep moving.
Mr. Harris, what about the other me?
As long as they can't do nothing. As long as they can't do nothing, I'm good. Let two Deandras say it's Deandra squared. All right, so that takes care of that. Then we dealt with 14.1. Okay, we dealt with 14.1. Then, so 14.1 was understanding polynomials, and you needed to make sure that you knew how to do what? Figure out, does it have 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms? And if it had more than 3 terms, we just call it a polynomial. 4 terms, 5 terms, 6 terms, 7 terms, okay? So in order to write it, you needed to know the degree of the highest monomial and then how many terms there were. So if I'm looking here, all terms are separated by what? By a plus or a minus. So how many terms do I have here? 2. What do we call something with 2 terms? Binomial, okay? And then we have to figure out what is the highest degree. Well, the highest degree here is 5. This is 5 and 1. So 5 plus 1 is 6. So the highest term is 6. So I would say a 6 degree binomial. And that's how we do that, okay? So it's pretty simple in just labeling that. The other part is just being able to combine like terms. So if I come here, in order to combine like terms, it has to be the same variable. So I have all m's, good. But it also has to have the same power. What if there is no power? There is an understood 1. So therefore, I can take this one and put those 2 together. Keep those signs together, okay? So when I combine them, I'm adding or subtracting. If I'm adding or subtracting, the only thing that is affected is the coefficient. 8 minus 4 is what? 4. Keep the m, keep the power. Nothing happened to the 3m, so I just write it. 4m cubed, 4m to the 4th plus 3m. And that's how I do that. So it's pretty simple, it's pretty straightforward, and I'm able to go there, okay? So now, 4.2 is adding and subtracting. So combine like terms all day long, okay? So if I come down here and I want to add these 2, remember there's a 1 right here, plus 1. If I distribute a 1 in there, did anything happen? No. Since nothing happened to it, I'm able to do 6x squared plus 3x plus 2x squared plus 6x. Now combine like terms. Here's an x with a squared. Here's an x with a squared. So these 2 will go together. Then I look here. Here's an x to the first power. So that goes together with this x to the first power. So these 2 go together. So now I'm able to take the grays and say 6 plus 2 is 8x squared. Then I'm able to take the greens and say 3 plus 6, which is 9x. And that's how you add them up, okay? Let me see, was there a question? Clive was just writing to write. So if you have questions, please drop it in the chat box. I'll see it. All right, so that's how you add, okay? Now let's talk about subtraction. This is a -1, so I need to distribute that in. So now I get 9x cubed minus 5x. This becomes -3x. So here I go. This is to the first, this is to the first. So these two match. So all I do is subtract them. So I get 9x cubed, -5, -3, -8, and put x. Pretty simple. What if it has multiple? This -1 goes to all of them. So now nothing happened to the first one. So I'm going to put 4c to the 5th plus 8c squared minus 2c minus 2. Now distribute a -1. -c cubed plus 2c, because a negative and a negative is a positive, minus 5. Now let's go through. To the 5th, anything? No. To the 2nd, anything? No. To the 1st, anything? Yes. This one goes along with this one. Other than that, the only other ones that we can combine are the what? Constants. So now, here we go. Let's write it out. I get 4c to the 5th. What's the next highest one? The 3rd, right? Minus c to the 3rd. What's the next highest one? Squared. Plus 8c squared minus 2c plus 2c. What happens? -2 plus 2 is 0. So they cancel. What's left? -2 minus 5 is -7. And that is my final answer. Okay, so let's see what's going on in chat. I'm so upset. I'm sorry that you're upset. Okay, so now, unmute.
You're just fine back there.
Anybody have any questions?
Oh,
on 9192 14.1 14.2.
Como español, en español.
Anybody?
Here,
Any questions?
The other
No.
person left, and I'm happy. I'm happy now.
Okay, so here we
Are
go.
you gonna make us do
I-
this?
Excuse me?
Are we doing this like on our own?
This is the review. So now what I'm going to do, this is all on OneNote. So what I'm going to do now, I'm coming here to 14.3. I did it twice, so I got to make sure I get the other one. Here's 9.4, and here's 9.3. I'm going to pick one person. We're going to work through some problems, and then we'll be able to keep switching it up on who I call on, okay? So this is a better learning environment for y'all. So I'm going
Wait, so
No, it's not.
No.
What are
wait,
numbers?
so talk to me, DeAndre.
I'm so confused.
All right, just
I
follow
follow.
along. Here's 9.3. Remember, all of you should have been able to do this. If you go to the website,
Ooh.
right? You come to the website and you go to where I'm at. They took.
Oh my God, you opened the quiz again?
You definitely didn't check it, huh?
Actually, I did. How do you think I?
All right.
I just didn't realize that.
And since we're on this, look at
I
this.
just didn't read it.
Frequently asked questions. I have video tutorials on all of these questions telling you what to do. So y'all
Well,
stop emailing me going like, I don't have this. I don't know how to do this. Where is this? Pass this on to your friends. Okay? Yes, I don't do this for my health. I do it so it's easier on you. All right. So now,
interesting.
if y'all went to links this morning before this Zoom, you could come to OneNote,
Sure.
click on OneNote. OneNote might take a little bit to load, but it'll load.
I kind of forgot my username and password to the thing for me to get into OneNote.
No, you don't need a username and password. That's why I have a link. Just click on the link. No,
I'm
you.
dumb, bro.
So
You
there's
just
no,
figured
there's
that
no way.
out.
So I
No
go
way
to
out of it.
Zoom and look who's here in Zoom.
Ooh.
Everything is here. Like y'all don't have to guess. I told
I
you.
went there and I
treating
didn't
it
see
just
it.
like class. So it's all here. The printouts, it takes a little bit to load just because it's web-based and it's trying to sync from my computer.
We gotta print it out.
What? I'm digital. This is an online class. This is all digital.
It says print out.
So now, I'm gonna get out of that so my computer doesn't crash because it's trying to find everything. There we go. So this link, everything's good. You can find the book here, OneNote's here. Everything that we do is tracked. Okay. So that's that.
Do you have to write all these notes on paper?
I'm guessing that's Aaliyah. So Aaliyah, how you learn is how you learn. I make it so flexible that if you learn with no paper, no printing out, then you can do that. If you have an iPad, you can write notes in it, you can solve things. But we all know that in math, if I give you 234 plus 536, are you going to be able to do that in your head?
Sure.
So you need to be able to write things down. Where you keep all that, it should be in your notebook. It's not like you threw out your notebook for math class. Just go
Well,
through it. You're going to have to solve these problems. If you don't, you're not going to do well on the quizzes or the test. Okay? All right. So here we go. Let's mute that. Oh, we got some questions. What's the questions?
Not questions.
It's so funny. Yes, everything's
So
digital.
funny.
We live in a digital world. All right. So that's that. Let's come back here. 9.3. Here we go. Solving linear systems. But now we're going to do what? We are going to add or subtract them. The whole equation. Okay? So let's just look at this. It says, and here's the method. To use elimination, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to eliminate either the x or the y by doing what? Adding or subtracting. And I'll tell you when to do either one. It's very simple, okay? So add or subtract the equations to eliminate one variable. Solve the result. Oh, my internet's going bad. I can't hear you. Oh no. When you realize everything is there. Oh no. What, Mr. I'm here. Can you hear me? Oh boy. Aaliyah,
yes.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Did I go digital?
Hmm.
Never mind. All right. Here we go. All righty. So we got to add or subtract the equations to eliminate one variable. You must eliminate at least one variable. Solve the resulting equation for the other variable. Substitute the value for the known variable into one of their original equations. Solve for the other variable. Check the values in both equations. Whole lot of blah, 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 blah. All right, so let's just do one. Okay, so let me pick on somebody. Let's go with Clive. There we go. Clive. Clive, are you there? Clive. Clive, I'm going to kick you out for your own answer. I just sat there and unmuted you, man. Come on. All right. Carlos.
Yes.
Carlos, you here?
Yeah.
All right, let's make it happen. Okay. What variable do you want to eliminate? You either want to eliminate X or you want to eliminate the Y. You tell me which one you want to eliminate.
I think the X will be a better option.
I can hardly hear you. Speak up.
I think the X will be a better option
All right. Now, why would you pick the X?
because it has how to explain this? It has more numbers, so the less numbers in the equation, the easier, I guess.
Okay. So let's have a conversation here. I have a -2 for the coefficient. I have a 3, positive 3. What is the coefficient of the top y?
1.
Not 1, but what?
Oh, minus
Yes, -1. It's -1. What's the coefficient of the bottom one?
1.
A positive 1.
Yeah.
If I add a -1 and a positive 1, what number am I going to get?
0.
If I add a -2 and a positive 3, what number am I going to get?
1.
1. What number am I looking for though?
0.
0. So watch this.
Oh, okay.
If I eliminate the y's, I'm going to what? Add or subtract the equations.
You're gonna add them.
Add them. Why? This is something called additive inverse. Okay? It's called additive inverse. So how do I get the 0 if I'm at positive 1? What should I do?
Can you say it again?
If I'm at 1, how do I get to the number 0?
Just -1.
-1. What if I have a positive 5? How do I get to 0?
-5.
-5. What if I have a -10? How do I get to 0?
-10.
-10?
Oh, plus.
+10. What if I have a -8?
+8.
+8. So you know what an additive inverse is. All we have to do is find it, okay? So here's a -1. Here's a positive 1. They are called what?
Additive inverse.
Additive inverse. So that means it's going to be easier on me to eliminate the y. So let's do it. Let's add these equations. -2 plus positive 3 is what?
1.
1. So I get 1x plus, what's -1 plus positive 1?
-1 plus +1. Oh,
-1 plus 1. Yeah, plus is just +1. What do you get? 0, correct. Here's my equals. What's -5 plus a -1?
-6.
-6.
Yeah.
And 0 times y is what?
0 times y it's 0.
0. So what am I left with? X equals what?
-6.
-6. You see how easy that was?
Yeah.
All right. So now, with that being said, if I know that x is equal to -6, what can I do?
You plug it in.
I can substitute it back in to either one of these equations. Okay. So let's just choose the top one. -2.
Parentheses.
And instead of a x, what do we put?
Parentheses.
Parentheses what?
6.
What kind of 6?
Negative.
-6. And then minus y equals -5. Now what do we solve for?
For y,
For y. And whenever we solve, what do?
we combine like terms.
Well, what's the process? What do we call the process in our class?
PEMDAS.
4 steps, correct?
Yeah.
So here we go. Simplify / combine like terms. Anything to do? You already said it. PEMDAS. So we're going to take -2 times -6. What do we get?
12.
12.
-1.
Right? Now, step 2 says what?
Add it.
Yep. We want to be able to remove all addition, subtraction, but this is a positive 12. So what are we going to do?
Subtract.
Subtract. So we subtract 12. What I do to one side, I must.
Do to the other.
12 minus 12 is 0. I get -y equals, what's -5 minus 12?
-5 minus 12. 7.
Good. So I get -17. So step 3, remove all multiplication and division. What am I going to do? Because there's a negative what here?
1.
Negative 1. So I need to do what?
Divide
Divide by what?
by -1.
So y is equal to what?
1. Oh, wait. -1. 17.
17. Good. So if x is -6, y is 17, what is my answer?
My -6, comma, 17.
17. And that's my answer.
Okay, that was simple.
Does that make sense, people? Oh, gotta unmute you in order for you to answer me, huh? Unmute. All right, got a lot of people in the chat. What's going on? I'm here. Okay. Don't write in the chat unless you got a question. Why? All right, so now, solving systems by adding or subtracting. Do we understand why did we add during this situation? Because we had what?
Addition.
An additive inverse. We had -1 and 1. They're opposites, correct? That's all additive inverse means, that they're opposites. I had a -1. I erase all this so you can see it. Here is a -1. Here's a +1. So I want to eliminate that variable. And how do I do that? I just add the equations. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let's look at problem number 2. Which one will we eliminate? The x or the y?
The Y.
The y, because what do we see? Isn't there a +2 and a -2?
Yeah. No. Wait. Yes. Yes.
Therefore, they're what?
Addition.
They're additive inverses, correct?
Oh, I had to think of the way to addition.
So we're just going to add these equations. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look down here. Because you're like, okay, we've been adding. What are we going to do? When would I subtract? So now I have a 1 and a 2. They're not the same numbers. They're not additive inverses. I have a 1 and a 1. But they're both positive. They're not additive inverses. If I add them, I'll go to 2, not the 0. But here's what I can do. If I have the same exact number, I can subtract the equations. Why? Because 1 minus 1 is going to get me to what number? 0. So let's do that. 1x minus 2x. That's negative x. 1 minus 1 gets me 0 y's. Don't forget your equals. 12 minus 6 is what? 6. Now, all I have to do is what? Solve for this x. Step 1 says do what? Simplify / combine like terms. Nothing to do. Remove addition, subtraction. Nothing to do because this isn't really there. 0 times y is 0. So step 3, remove all multiplication, division. I'm going to divide. What am I dividing by? A -1. So x equals -6. Now that I know that x is equal to -6, what can I do? I can substitute it into either one of those equations. Doesn't matter. So let's do the bottom one. So let's do 2x plus y equals 6. So instead of an x, I put in a what? That's right, -6 plus y is equal to 6. Now I solve for what? Y. Remove, simplify / combine like terms. Anything to do? Yes, PEMDAS. So -12. 2 times -6 is -12. Step 2, remove all addition, subtraction. What do? I'm going to add, because I'm going to add this 12. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. So 12 and 12, 0. Don't forget your y. 6 plus 12 is what? 18. Y is equal to 18. X is equal to -6. My answer is -6, comma 18. If I graph them, that's where they would cross.
Oh no.
Does everybody understand that?
I
Yeah.
do.
I do.
That's pretty straightforward.
Yes.
A little bit, not really.
Yeah, Aaliyah?
Yep.
Mhm.
Little bit.
All right. So me and Aaliyah, we're going to do number 4. I want to make sure that you understand this because we really need this, okay? All right. So let
Right.
me mute y'all. Let me bring in Aaliyah. Good there. All right. So Aaliyah, you there?
Mhm.
Okay. So the first thing I need to do is look at these coefficients. I have a 2, a -2. What's this number?
1,
Good. And what's this number?
3,
Good. What kind of 3?
a negative.
-3. Okay. So which ones are either exactly the same or additive inverses?
The 2, -2.
Good. What are they? Are they the same or additive inverses?
They're inverses.
Inverses. Okay. So now, notice I box them. When I box them, it lets me know which ones I'm going to eliminate. So that means go to what number? If I want to eliminate them, what number am I going to?
The one next to the -2, -3.
What? But if I add 2 and -2, what number do I go to?
I don't know.
What's 2 minus 2?
0.
0. If I'm going to eliminate something, I want to go to the number 0 because 0 times anything is what?
0.
0. There we go. So since these are additive inverses, I'm going to add. So here we go. 2 plus a -2 is what?
2 plus -2.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that -4?
Mm-mm. 2 plus -2 is just saying 2 minus 2. So what's 2 minus 2?
Oh, 2. I mean, 0.
0. So I have 0x. And 0 times x is just what?
0.
0. So there's nothing there, correct?
Mhm.
Now remember, this was a 1. This is -3. What is 1 plus -3? I have opposite signs. So really, I should put the big number on top, small number on the bottom, and subtract them because they're opposite, right? Plus, minus, and 3 minus
Yeah.
2 is what?
3 minus that 3 minus 1 is 2, right?
2. So I have 2 there. So I get 2. Keep the sign of the bigger number. So it's -2, correct?
Mhm.
And y equals 1 plus 5. And what is 1 plus 5? 6. Okay, so now I'm going to solve for y. Simplify / combine like terms. Anything to do?
Subtract.
Subtract what?
Oh,
Simplify. What's our checklist?
remove factors, PEMDAS, distribute, and factor.
Factor. Good. Now you want to put them in order though. PEMDAS, distribute, remove fractions, and factor. That is exactly correct. There's nothing to do there. What about combine like terms? Anything to do?
No.
Remove addition, subtraction. It says +0. So that's really nothing, correct?
Yeah, no.
So step 3 says remove multiplication, division. What am I going to do?
Divide.
And divide by what?
2.
What kind of 2?
-2.
There you go. What I do to one side, I must.
2 to the other.
So -2 and -2 is just 1. So I get y equals 6 divided by -2.
3.
What kind of 3?
-3.
There we go. So I know that
Why is it negative though?
because a positive and a negative is a
Negative. Never mind.
negative. Okay. So I got y equals 3, negative 3. What can I do with that now?
Oh, plug it in for y.
There you go. Does it matter which equation?
No.
No. So here we go. Let's do the top. 2x plus, and instead of a y, I'm going to put what?
3. Negative 3.
Negative 3 equals 1. What am I solving for now?
For x.
So simplify / combine like terms. Anything to do?
No.
Nope. Just go through your checklist. No PEMDAS, no distributing. There's no fractions, and we haven't even talked about factoring. So this just says 2x minus 3 equals 1, because a positive and a negative is a negative. So here we go. Step 2, remove all what?
Addition and subtraction.
So what am I going to do?
Don't you add the 3 on both sides?
Good. So I get 2x. This goes to 0. There's additive inverses right there. See how we used it again? Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. That's additive inverse. 1 plus 3 is what?
4.
4. Good. Step 3. What is it? Remove all.
Divide.
There you
Remove all
go.
multiplication and division.
So we divide by 2, divide by 2. X is equal to what?
2.
2. So if x is equal to 2, y is equal to negative 3, my answer is 2, negative 3. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So this is just elimination by adding and subtracting. Cool?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me bring everybody back in. All right. Anybody, any questions?
No, sir.
Nah.
Good. As you can see, I even left the answers on here so y'all can practice. Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Yeah, I'm nice like that.
What's Lisa doing?
Better than most teachers.
Yep. Best teacher.
All right, so let's do this. Solving linear systems by multiplying. We're going to do exactly the same thing, except for we need to manipulate one of the equations so we can get an additive inverse or the exact same number. Now, I'm going to tell you, you should get the additive inverse so you're always adding. Makes your life easier, okay? So let's just look at their example. To solve each system by elimination, you may first need to multiply one of the equations to make the coefficients what? Match, which means additive inverses. So here, I got a 2, I got a 1. I got a 5, I got a negative 3. Ugh, neither one works. But since this is a 1, that makes my life easy. I can multiply by a negative 2 to the whole bottom equation, all of it. You can't just do one side. You have to do both sides. So notice, put the left side in parentheses, the right side in parentheses, multiply by a negative 2. Why am I doing that? Because if I do that, I have a 2 and a negative 2, which means I can now add these equations and it will go to 0. So here we go. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 3 is a positive. Negative and negative is a positive. 2 times 3 is 6y. Negative 2 times 10, negative 20. There we go. So that's my new equation. So negative 2x plus 6y is equal to negative 20 is the exact same thing as saying this equation over here. X minus 3y is equal to 10. They're exactly the same, okay? So 2x plus negative 2x, 0, eliminated. 5y plus positive 6y is 5 plus 6 is 11. So I get 11 of y. 9 plus a negative 20, take the bigger number, put it on top, because they're different signs. This is a plus sign, minus sign. Subtract them. I get 11. Keep the sign of the bigger number, negative 11. Okay, so there we go. So I have 11 y equals negative 11y. You can solve that with ease. Y is equal to negative 1. Correct? But now what do I do with that? I need to substitute it in. When I substitute it in, use parentheses. Negative 3 times negative 1 is a positive 3. So x plus 3, I subtract the 3, x is equal to 7. So my answer is 7, comma, negative 1. Pretty simple, okay? So what I'm gonna do, come down here, we are going to solve this together, okay? Let's find somebody who will do this. Let's go with DeAndre. Let's work it. Let's make this happen. DeAndre.
What up, sunshine?
All right, let's make this happen. You're DeAndre squared left. Okay.
I'm so happy about that.
All right, so let's talk about these coefficients, okay? I have a 2. What's that number?
That's a 1.
A 1, good. What's that number?
Negative 3.
And
Positive 2.
positive 2. Does 2 match with 1?
No.
Does negative 3 match with the 2?
No.
No. So what's the easiest one to change?
The 1.
The 1. I want it to be an additive inverse of what number?
2.
Yay! Of the 2. Okay.
Yay!
So now, what should I multiply 1 by to be a negative 2?
Negative 2.
There you go. So I'm going to take negative 2 and I'm going to multiply this whole bottom. Now watch
Oh my
what I
God,
do.
that's so much.
Negative 2, parentheses, x plus 2y equals negative 2 times negative 1. So let's figure this out.
All right.
Let's distribute. What is negative 2 times x?
Negative 2.
Negative 2 what?
X.
There you go. What is negative 2 times a positive 2y? A negative and a positive gets you a what when you multiply?
Negative 4.
Negative 4.
Y.
And you just get y. A negative and a negative is a what?
Positive 2.
Positive 2. So here we go. I'm going to rewrite the first equation. Nothing happened to it. I changed the second equation to this. So let's put that underneath.
Yes, sir.
All right. So you tell me, am I going to add these equations together or subtract them?
Add them.
Add them, because the 2's are what? Additive inverse. Say it with me. Additive inverse.
Inverse.
There you go. So if they are opposites, that's all additive inverse means. They're inverses or opposites, okay? That means I am going to add. And we put a little plus sign out there, okay?
Okay.
So let's do it. 2x plus a negative 2x. Oh, disappeared. I don't know why this computer still does it, but it does. Here we go. 2x plus a negative 2. What number do I go to?
0.
0. That's why it's called elimination. Going, going, going. Bye, bye, bye. Do I have to write a 0?
No.
Good. Negative 3 plus a negative 4.
Negative 7.
There you go. You're on.
Y.
5 plus 2 is what?
Positive 7.
Positive 7. Now what do we solve for?
Y.
Anything to do for the first step?
No.
Anything to do for the second step?
Isn't that no?
Anything to do for the third step?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you ain't funny. What do we do?
We divide.
Divide by what?
7.
No.
Negative 7.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What I do to one side, I must.
Go to the other.
So negative 7 gets me to 1. So I get y is equal to, what's 7 divided by negative 7?
It's going to be negative 1.
Negative 1. I know what y is equal to. So what do I do with that?
Substitute.
Yay.
Oh, I got it right. Okay.
Does it matter which equation I put it back into?
No.
No. So which one do you want?
The top.
All right, so 2x minus 3, what?
-1.
There you go. Equals what?
5.
5. Now what do we do?
Solve for x.
And that means go to the first step. Anything to do for the first step?
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Simplify. Go through your checklist.
It's not PEMDAS.
What's the first one?
Distribute. Right?
What's the first one?
PEMDAS.
Yeah. Now you can say distribute, same thing in your mind because it's multiplication, right?
Yeah.
All right. So 2x, -1, -3 and -1 gets you a
+3.
+3. Good. Second step. Anything?
Yes.
What?
The
What are we
dump
gonna
my
do?
x.
Remove all.
Addition.
There you go. So what are we gonna do?
Subtract.
Subtract what?
3.
There you go. What I do to one side, I must.
2 to the other.
So I get 2x. 3's go to 0. Those 3's are additive inverses. 3 minus 3 is 0. Yay.
Yeah.
5 minus 3 is what?
2.
Step 3.
Divide.
By what?
2.
X is equal to what?
+1.
So if I know x is +1, y is -1, what's my answer?
1, -1.
Yay. Great job, Deandra.
I went dumb for most of it.
Huh?
I went dumb for most of it, and I know this. And I'm just like,
You were good. You were good. You were good.
no, I'm not.
All right. So now, anybody, any questions?
No question.
Everything good. Everything good.
I went dumb.
So let's make sure that you understand what I'm doing. I'm going over the lesson, but notice I'm not doing all the problems. So I'm leaving examples in here so you can go to OneNote and then look at the reteach. You can look at the problems that just went over, and then I will also post this Zoom. So you have more problems that you can do to keep practicing. Okay?
I'm hungry.
Me too.
Right?
Same here.
We
My God, I'm
on
starving.
15.3.
Wanna make me some
not with
ramen.
your stomach issues. Here we go.
Again.
You're
Hungry.
gay.
So now, I got 14.3 multiplying polynomials by monomials. Okay, you should know what a monomial is. It's a combination of constants and variables, but they have no plus signs, no minus signs, because that would make it two different terms, okay? So to multiply monomials, multiply the constants first, then we multiply variables. How do you multiply the variables? You're going to add, you're going to add the exponents. Add the exponents, okay? Let's see what we got here. Oh my goodness gracious, Clive. Don't nobody care about that. So add the exponents, okay? But they gotta have the same what? Same base. Good. So here we go. Here's a 3, here's a 4. So 3 times 4 is what? 12. Here's an A, here's an A. If there is no power, there's an understood 1. So 2 plus 1. 2 plus 1 is what? 3. So we got that. B to the first. So that's 1 plus 3. So that gets me to the fourth. So 12a cubed b to the fourth. And that's how you would multiply monomials. Okay? Sometimes it might be more than one, so we need to distribute it to every term. How many terms do we have? 3. How do I know that? Because they're separated by plus and minus signs. So here we go. We're going to multiply. I'm going to pick, let's go with Marcellus. Marcellus, are you there?
Yes.
Beautiful. So let's deal with this. We're going to deal with the numbers first. We're multiplying. -5 times 2 is what, Marcellus?
A -10.
-10. Good. Okay. Then I have a x and a x. This is to a power of 2. What's the power for this x?
It's a 1.
It's a 1. What do I do with the powers when I multiply them together?
I believe you're adding them,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken.
So it's 2 plus 1. What's 2 plus 1?
3.
So I get x to the what?
Third power.
Third power. And then I have a y and a y. This is a 3. What's the power over here?
1.
1. So what do I do?
You add those, the 3 and the 1, which is a 4.
So I get y is equal to, y to the
Fourth power.
fourth power. That's your answer, correct? -10 x cubed y to the fourth. Yes?
Yes.
That's a great job there, Marcellus. Great job, great job. All right, let's go to Jonathan. There we go. Jonathan, you there?
Hi.
Beautiful. All right, let's go. Let's do this. I don't believe, this looks confusing. So 4, x minus 5. What am I going to do?
Distribute.
Distribute. Beautiful. So I have 2 arrows. That means I got 2 problems. 4 times x is what?
4x.
There we go. 4 times a -5.
-20.
Done. Right?
Yeah.
Since I got you on, let's do this one too. What's 3x times x?
3x to the power of 2.
There you go. 3x squared. Because this is a 1, this is a 1. What do? We add the ones. So I get 2. 3x times 8.
24x.
There we go. Because 3 times 8 is 24. There's nothing for the x, so I just leave the x. That's a beautiful job. Great job, great job. Let's see, who's up next? I'm going to go with Henry. You there, Henry?
Yeah.
All right, let's make it happen. What am I going to do with this -3?
Multiply?
What do we call this?
What is that?
D word. What's the D word?
Divide.
No.
Distribute.
Distribute. Because arrows mean what?
Multiply.
Multiply. So what is -3 times 5? -15. Good. What is -3 times -1? You still with me, Henry? Uh-oh. I don't know why you muted yourself.
My fault.
Henry,
Can you repeat that?
what is -3 times -1?
3.
Good. +3. And then I just have to keep x squared, correct?
Yeah.
What is -3 times +2?
Negative and positive 2.
A negative and a positive is a what?
Negative.
Negative. What's 3 times 2?
6.
Good. Do you see any terms that you can combine?
-15, -6.
Yes, because they're both what?
Negative.
Constant. Not because they're negative, they're constants. They have no variables, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So -15, -16, they're the same sign. So you add them. 5 and 6 gets you what? What's 5 plus 6?
11.
Carry the 1. What's 1 plus 1?
2.
Since they're both negative, I keep the negative and I write what number?
21.
21. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, people. What do y'all think about? What we got?
Hmm?
We're good?
Yeah, I got the email. So I told him.
Yeah.
He said he's gonna do it when he comes here.
Oh, yes, you
No?
have to do something.
I know.
Or you can
I'm
send
gonna
me.
get it when he comes. He said that when he
A whole
comes
lot
to
of talking.
order. That's what I'm gonna do when he comes
Are
on
we
Thursday.
good, Aaliyah, on 14?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
On
This
14
is the-
point
Quiet.
2 and 14.4.
Yeah,
So
I'm getting 14.4 right now.
Okay.
So,
Wait, so like liberal arts is done, right?
yeah, liberal arts is done. But
Yay!
we're gonna go over this again.
that's not fair. How Algebra 2 is not done?
They should learn it because they're coming up next on 14.
Well,
If you look
segment
at your
2.
schedule,
Well, we can watch the videos. You said so.
you just told me that you don't watch videos.
I do watch the videos, like at least 3 minutes of it, and then I fall asleep. But it's so.
Congratulations, you played it.
I literally stay up all night reading serial killer. Like, come on.
Hell
No,
yeah.
Anime.
I'm not going there.
Hell yeah. I feel right now.
Mr. Harris,
Yes.
can I retake that
Student
test?
Academy?
Yeah, it's already on there.
Huh?
It's already on there. The quiz? I already put
Yeah,
it on there.
the you fixed it for me, the pre one, because I took it and I didn't pass it, so I want to retake it.
Yeah, do it. It gives you 2 tries. So
Oh, yeah.
I've already opened it, so you can redo it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mr. Harris, when you said if you sent me an email, I didn't get it. I was waiting for a while and I still never got it.
Who's this, Christian?
Yeah.
All right, Christian, hold on to the end, and I'm going to give you your password. Okay?
All right. Clive, shut up.
I can leave, right?
No.
No.
Why?
Wait, we could leave?
All right, so here's 14.4. So let's make sure we get it. It's polynomials. We're multiplying, but this is binomial to binomial. Something called what? FOIL. First, outer, inner, and last. Okay? So here we go. They have all this and they rewrite it and rewrite it and rewrite it and rewrite it. But it's as simple as this. If I have x plus 4 times x minus 5, here's first, here's outer, here's inner, here's last. How many arrows do I have? I have 4. So I have 4 things I have to do. X times what? X. Then I'm going to add it to x times -5. Right there, right there. That takes care of those. Plus 4 times x plus 4 times a what? -5. Notice, every term in the first one needs to be multiplied to every term in the second one. Okay? So now, all I have to do is do it. X times x, 1 and 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So I get x squared. X times -5 is just -5x. 4 times x is just what? 4x. 4 times a -5 is -20. Is there any of them that I can combine? These two, because I have x to the first, x to the first. So if I rewrite it, x squared, -5 plus 4 is -1. So I get x minus 20. That's my answer. So here we go. I'm going to pull somebody out the crowd. Let's go with Alexander.
No, you've got to be kidding me.
Here we go, Alexander. So I draw an arrow here. What does the arrow mean?
To multiply.
Good. And draw an arrow here. How many arrows do I have?
2.
How many?
Well, 4.
4.
4.
Good. So the first arrow says x times what?
X times x.
Good. The second arrow says x times what?
6.
Good. Third arrow means what?
X.
-3 times what?
-3 times. Oh, -6.
Well, that's the second one. The first one's x, and then -3 times -6. Does that make
Oh.
sense?
Yeah.
So you got 4 different problems. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 arrows, correct? So let's do it. What's x times x?
1.
We add the powers. 1 plus 1 is
Oh, so
what?
it's gonna be 2.
There we go. So we get x squared. What is x times 6?
6x squared.
6x. There's only one x there,
Oh, okay.
right? What's
Yeah.
-3 times x?
-3x.
Good. What's -3 times -6?
18.
Great job. Can I combine any like terms?
Yes. Positive 6 and -3x.
And that gets you what?
3x.
Is that your final answer?
Yes. No.
You are exactly correct. Does that make sense?
It kind of.
What do you mean, kind of?
Oh wait, no, never mind. I get it. But I got confused for a second.
Don't be confused, Alexander.
Okay, Mr. Harris.
All right. So that's 14.4. We just went through all of them. You should know how to do FOIL because it's nothing more than distributing, but you're doing it more than one time. That's all that is. Okay? So let me open this back up.
Mami, pero Isha esto.
Yeah, you create
Any
one.
questions?
You still
Alexander.
got money here?
Can you do another one?
Alexander?
Frankie.
Any
Yo.
questions?
Can you do another one?
Yes.
Oh,
Can I leave?
One like this, I ain't no sleep.
Me and you,
in
Aaliyah.
a hurry, but I love you, but
Hmm?
Somebody got their everything on, got me going crazy. Here we go. Where's Aaliyah? Aaliyah. There you are. There we go. Aaliyah.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go. We got X right here. We're going to draw arrows to how many different terms?
To 3.
3. So it looks like this, correct?
Yeah.
What am I going to do with that 2?
You're gonna distribute it as well.
How many times?
1, 2, 3.
3. So how many problems are you going to have?
3.
Look at it. Count the arrows.
Yeah, you're gonna have 3 problems, right?
Here's 3. And here's another 3. So how many are you going to have?
Oh, 2.
You're going to have 6. 6 in
What?
total. There's 6 arrows. 1, 2, 3.
Don't mean it's supposed to be. Okay, whatever.
I get you. So here we go. The first one is X times what?
6 squared.
6x squared. What's the
Yeah.
next one?
4x.
And X times that, right?
Yeah. And
And the
then
next
5.
one's what?
5.
Good. So there's my first 3. What's the next one?
2x squared
2 times
times 6x squared.
6x squared.
And then 2 times 4x.
Good.
And 2 times 5.
And 2 times 5. Good. All right, so let's do this. What is x to the first power times 6x squared?
It's either 7x squared or 6x
6x to the
Squared.
what?
cubed.
Cubed. Good. What number's in front of that x?
1.
1. 1 times 6 is what?
7.
1 times
6. 6.
6. So remember,
thinking
we're
of
multiplying, we're not adding. So what's the number in front of this x?
It's 1.
So 1 times 4 is what?
4x.
Not just 4x, because what? We got a 1 and a 1. So what do we do when we multiply
4x
x
squared.
times x? There we go, 4x squared. There's a 1 in front of this x. 1 times 5?
5x.
So we get 5x. Good. Now, 2 times 6?
Don't tell me I know it. It's 12x squared.
12x squared. Good. 2 times 4?
8x.
Good. And 2 times 5?
10.
10. Good. Are there any like terms anywhere?
Yeah.
What are they?
4x squared and 12x squared.
Are there any other ones?
5x and 8x.
Are there any other ones?
No.
Good. So let's write it out. 6x cubed. Then what?
10.
Where'd you get 10?
Oh, you gotta put it in order. I think I do 4 and 12 first. So 16. 4. 16x4. Oh.
No. When we add or subtract, do not change the power. Add or subtract, don't change the power. Multiply, divide, change the power. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what?
Then it's 5 and 8. 13.
13 what?
X.
Mm-hmm. Then what?
And then 10.
And you're done. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. You did the hardest one.
I did?
Yep. You did a great
That was
job.
easy.
Exactly. Okay. So y'all should be able to do that. Now, let's go back here because that's it for the day on anything that we have to do. I just want to reiterate, if you're hearing stuff from other students, please send them to my portal. I mean, I can't make it any easier. Updated work week PDF is there. I reopened the quiz that you had last Friday. When is it due? Wednesday. Where are Zoom meetings? Right here. Contact log. Everybody must fill this out. Get it filled out.
I just filled it out today, so can you put in my grade, please?
Well, when I check it, I will. So, great question of the day here. Then I have FAQ is frequently asked questions.
Oh, you're cutting
You're
out.
going digital.
I got y'all were all over the place, so I couldn't. No. Ooh, that was horrible. Okay, so now let's try this again. Got answers, frequently asked questions. I have videos for the intro. I got, do I have to fill out the contact form? Yes. So class structure, what am I doing for the month? I made a video real quick. What am I doing for the week? Made a video. What am I doing for each day? Made a video. Where do I go to find updates, classwork, quizzes and tests? Where's the book? Where's your videos? My videos I'm talking about. To find the video of the Zoom meetings, where are they? All right there. Oh, HMH, our online class / book. How do I log in? Video. I don't have my username and password. What to do? I have it all right here, even how I'm going to grade. And then if you want to communicate with me and everything else. So please refer your friends there. Make sure that you know that in these links, because I'm going to add something so you know to go to OneNote. Everything that I do is in OneNote, everything. So you can see it just by clicking on there. There's no username or password. HMH, you need a username or password. Imagine Math, username and password, not doing anything with it. Khan Academy, that's up to you. It's an extra resource. and then Class Dojo. Okay. Sorry, so aggressive. Did not hear that, but whatever. Okay. So I'll unmute you one more time.
Mr.
I am
Harris,
done. Talk to me.
I can't get into Class Dojo like on my phone. I can get into it on the computer, but I want to get into it on my phone and I can't.
Download the app.
I did, but like they said to scan the code, but the code won't scan. So what is the ID?
Oh, that's but that's different. That's
Yo.
you. If I know they're scanning the code, but they should allow you to at least plug
I
in.
hope that said break on
If
it.
it's that scan one, that's hard to do.
Why do I have
I-
2 points
Yeah,
on
no,
my
no,
thing
no,
on
no.
Class
I
Dojo?
hope you fall through. That would be the best
Because
day
you
of my
didn't turn in
life.
homework
Yes, I did.
at the time.
I
Oh.
hope I do die. That would be the best day of my life.
Are we good?
Yeah, that's a lot of
Exactly.
work you
Yeah.
gave because we got a whole lot of other teachers, man.
What's a lot of work?
On
Everything.
HMH, you got like 30,000 assignments.
What's
On it.
HMH?
Yeah, but
All right.
yeah,
It's like
come on.
these are like on crack or something.
If you look here, and I made it very simple because I know you have other classes. I'm coming to what you're supposed to be doing. Here's day one, graded classwork. What is today? Today, Tuesday or Monday?
Today's Tuesday.
Tuesday. So what are you doing on Tuesday? You're doing 9394 for liberal arts. There's
Hold on.
probably like 8 problems per.
Oh, you got liberal arts. I got algebra 2. That's the difference. That's not my paper.
Okay, listen. Algebra 2 is exactly the same. If I come here for algebra 2, let it load, let it load. Here's your work week. So there you go. You got 14.3 and 14.4. All you're doing is problems. So you already learned it last week. I'm going back over 14.3 and 14.4. And there's like 8 problems. So this is real simple to follow along what's going on. Now, I will tell you, I just got done with the video for 15.1. That one's a good, you better know how to factor. And looking at my classes, people better make sure they look at that video.
You put factoring on it?
Yeah, it's factoring. 15.1, chapter 15 goes into factoring. That's not going to be on the test, but here's factoring. Okay. And then we get the 15.2 at the end of the week. So I'm not going fast. You're pretty much repeating what you did last week. Okay.
Yeah, so I had emailed you saying that we were doing the same thing we did before.
Wait, so
talk to me.
So
Christian.
Yes.
This is what I'm gonna do. I gotta get you.
Stop stuttering and talk.
I am going to get.
They still don't have the email.
All right. 0. Have you emailed me? Have you done the contact sheet?
No.
You need to do the contact sheet right now. I need the contact
I think, yeah, when the first day I came in, you told me to do.
I'm not worried about that contact sheet. Everything's done changed. We're in a pandemic. Everything changed. So make sure that you fill out that contact form.
All
right.
All right. So I'm going to you right now, Christian.
My dudes.
On this. Where are you? There we go. All right. All right. So Christian, I'm gonna type this in the chat. Do you see where the chat is?
Yeah.
All right. Because it doesn't matter. You're going to change this password. Just do it right now. So your username is that. Your password is that. All right.
All right.
Giving everybody his information.
Yeah, but it's going to change.
Oh no!
As soon as he logs
Mr.
in, he'll
Harris, what
change
have
his
you
password.
done?
It's not gonna matter, Christian, because as soon as you type that in, it's gonna ask you for a new password.
You
Alright.
They change it first.
4v4.
Lord, Cadiz, I've changed the password for you.
All
They gonna
right.
change it.
So that's that. Everybody else good?
For the
Yeah.
most
I'm
part,
feeling sick lately.
Oh, don't be sick.
No.
Don't do that. That's
We
why
done
if they try to make us come back to school next week, I ain't doing it. Y'all sickly people.
wait, really?
Wait, we going back to school next week?
No, I
Wait,
don't know what they're
Wait,
trying to do.
what's the class dojo code?
It's a code.
I sent it to
No.
your email
I didn't get
thought-
anything.
because you need to fill out the contact, Christian. Please
Oh, yeah, I knew
fill out
that.
the contact.
Wow.
I knew that.
Are we
Alright.
actually going back to school on May 1st?
It was a joke.
May 1st is a Friday. We can't go back to school on a Friday.
No, that's when they determine whether or not we go back or not. It's not if we go back. They're gonna decide how the
I'm supposed
virus is. And if
I'm
Oh.
I'm
hella
supposed
bored,
to
so
have prom on
I'm
Saturday
hella
on the
bored. I
May
need to go
2nd.
back.
They canceled that.
They canceled MegaCon.
They
All right.
canceled prom.
Marcellus,
They might even
how you
cancel
doing?
graduation.
We're going back to school by May 1st.
You good, Marcellus?
On Monday, after May 4th, we might go back to school.
All right, people. Y'all be good.
no,
Stay black.
Frankie,
and alive. There you go.
yo,
I won't miss you guys.
All right, I'll talk to y'all. Y'all have a good
You will
day.
be missed.
you too, sunshine. Your head is still shiny.
That's right.
Wow.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning.
Oh, Alexander Wilkie.
Please, for a second. Got people joining that I don't know who they are, but let's see. Let's see. Alcatel A577BL. Who are you? Need to know who you are. Once you get your microphone going, and then that way I can.
Can you like?
Who is Alcatel A577BL? Looking for this Alcatel A577BL. Who are you? Need to know who you are in order to keep you in this class.
Oh, shoot.
All right, I'm heading out. I shall be back.
Who's Alcatel? Who's that?
Via bicycle.
There we go. We got, who's that? Oh, Marcellus. Marcellus, the man, the myth, the legend. I see you. Glad to see you on here, Marcellus. You ain't got to turn out the lights. Turn off the lights and light a candle. Yeah. Here we go. Boom, got Patricia coming. See, we got people joining. That's a good group. Make sure that y'all go to OneNote. It's in the links. If you go to OneNote, I've already done all the work for the lessons as we go through. Want to make sure that you, oh boy, Deandra. Good morning, Deandra. Want to make sure that you actually go through and have seen it. So with that being said, hi, Aaliyah. Glad to see you join us.
Oh my God! Hi, sunshine.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So tell me this before we get going. Who here has been watching the videos before they jump on the Zooms?
Yeah, about that. No.
I didn't really know. Like, I never got the emails about that crap, and I completely forgot that I could just come. Hold on, where's my mic?
Who's talking? I can't tell because it keeps jumping all. Is it Christian?
Yes.
All right.
Oh.
So Christian, do you have?
What do you mean
don't-
I'm here?
You never got a login.
I did. I just completely forgot. I had to go to the AGA our website to figure out like what I have to do. So that was my fault. But I've been doing my USA test prep though.
USA test prep for this class doesn't do anything. Nothing at all.
Clive, what the hell?
Yeah, Clive is on some other
Don't
stuff.
blame Clive. Oh.
Clive, your green
It's a
screen.
different type of math.
Hold up. Where's my headphones?
So, Christian, did I send you an email? Christian, where
No
are
way.
you? Christian.
Go away.
Hello. Oh.
Christian, did I send you an email?
Let me check. Why don't my emails work?
So let's do the next part. Christian, did you fill out the contact form that's on the website?
That's a no.
Oh wait, that contact form, yes, that with my parents and all that. Yeah, the one you gave me when I first came into class. Right? Wait.
He's like,
wait.
Uh-oh.
All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna log into my stuff real quick. I'm gonna see if I even have your stuff here. Christian.
How's your day, sunshine?
It's always great. I start early in the morning, get it going.
I woke up an hour ago.
Oh, isn't that life good? Yeah, Christian, I have stuff for you, so you're good. You are logged in. I'm like, whether you've logged in or not, I gave you a username and password.
I didn't get anything from you. Wait.
All right. So that being said, it's 11:02. Got to be here on time. I'm going to mute everybody and we're going to jump in. All right.
No.
Now, the way that I'm going to do these sessions, because this isn't about me, I'm going to treat this like class a little bit, but we do have to make sure that we're using our time wisely. So when I call you, if you don't know the answers, it's okay. There's no, I already told you, judgment-free zone. We get in what we get in, and then from there, we do what we have to do, okay? So everybody.
We're just on 14.
Huh?
We were just on 14. How are we on 11?
On 11?
You just said 11.
No. 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock.
Oh.
All right. So everybody turn videos off. I'll mute y'all up. Bang, bang. Let me see. That's the chat. Everybody's good. Okay. All right. We're good to go. Let me get Jonathan in here. Make sure that he's good. Okay. Good. All right. I'm gonna share my screen right now.